So I actually would like to give y'all part two of this intro. You know, it's my first time doing this type of shit. I'm just kind of winging it. I don't want to overthink the shit. So, it's a little more history of the truck. So, like I said, I did the work with the side axle swap. So, first time around, I actually did this swap. I did it with a YJ Dana 30 front axle that had 410s in it as well, and then I re-geared the GM rear 10 bolt that originally came in 373s. I re-geared that myself to 410 gears, and it was sitting on 35-inch all-terrains, some 15 by 10-inch rims. Oh, shit was hot. I got some pics laying around of that as well. So as I continue with this series and learn how to do the video editing and shit, I'll attach some of those photos as well. But it's a sweet little build, but it had a lot of depth wobble, and the steering was really sloppy. So the more I was learning about this, is all like learning as I go. But the amount of money I would have had to invest into steering, I actually found that it would have been better to just go ahead and go with the full width axles off top. So I ended up selling all the running gear, I guess you could say, that I had, and got these this Dana 44 and this 14 bolt. But anyway, some of the other special things with the build, we have a dual, I don't even know what they call this shit, a dual reservoir. Yes, I think it's a dual reservoir master cylinder. This is like a Corvette, old school Corvette style master cylinder. I had another one that was out of I guess a square body, like Suburban K30, like 3/4 ton truck. It's pretty ugly though. It had like the straps across the top, but it worked great. I just got this one just to kind of, spice up the engine bay a little bit. I want this shit to look hot too. I always want to take my hood off and just like ride around with like a cool fucking engine bay and shit. So this one, I believe when I compared it, it had the same size piston, so I shouldn't lose any like braking pressure. But by doing that that 3/4 ton master cylinder swap on these S series trucks, you can increase your braking power. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but you know what I'm saying. Your stopping capacity. In addition to that, I got rid of the vacuum boost for a hydro boost off an Astro van. A lot of the guys who had done this on the S10 form and the ZR2 form, like back in the day when I did this, they with the with the Astro van hydro boost, they actually had to chop down the, I don't know what you would call it, but the shaft that connects to the brake pedal on the other side of the firewall. My shit fit perfectly. This is a '03. I know in 2002 there were some minor modifications to the S series trucks, but I can't imagine it would have been something involved with like sheet metal. As far as I know, it was just the dash bezel was changed slightly to accommodate a double DIN radio. They changed out the PCM for the 0411 PCMs that you would have like in the vest and shit. So again, with my engine swap, all I got to do is basically take my harness, and I actually have another harness from a 5.3 Avalanche cable throttle body. Oh damn, hold on. So yeah, I wanted to go with the cable throttle body. I love a cable throttle body way better than a drive-by-wire. I like the response. I know you can tune them shits, but I just love that connection, feeling that connection to the car. Sorry, I kind of lost my place there. But yeah, a 5.3 Avalanche is like a 2001, so it's a harness that has the cable section as well, and the correct sensors for that. So I'll take those two harnesses and combine them together. I'm pretty good with wiring and electrical and shit. So that'll essentially be a plug and play. Like obviously after all the modifications, it'll be a plug and play in a way, for the truck. All the shit worked together. So that was what kind of made this swap so dope. If I would have had an older S series truck, I would have been better off getting the 5.7 L31 motor, which was identical to the 4.3 that originally came in this shit. It was like one of the last motors I bet you could get with a distributor. So that a pretty outdated piece of technology. Another reason I want to get this, yo, like that motor was so underpowered, and everybody who was doing these LS swaps and keeping it mild was coming out with better gas mileage. Matter of fact, best mileage I ever got in this truck was 19 miles per gallon stock. And when I lifted it with the YJ front and the stock rear on 35s, I did 18 miles per gallon on the highway. And when I had this setup going to I was living in Brooklyn at the time, and I was auditing these dealers in the Hamptons for their certified pre-owned departments and business developing center department or whatever. I drive this truck to the Hamptons on those days, and again, I was able to get 19 miles per gallon. So it's just dope, yo. Everybody thinks you lift these things, you get like 2 miles per gallon and shit. You just gotta know what the fuck you're doing. Do your research, yo. You re-gear the axle to accommodate the tire size. These are 37-inch by 12.5-inch tires. You know, and obviously the weight of the wheel comes into play too, but with the right power and common sense, you know, when things work together, you can make shit happen. So my goal, believe it or not, is to get the best gas mileage possible with this truck when I'm just like doing road trips and shit. I mean, it ain't gotta be no 30 mile per gallon type shit, but you know, if I could come out with like 18 still, I'd be lit. But I'm gonna shoot higher. I'm gonna shoot for the moon and do I'm gonna shoot for like 2022 on the highway, and like flat highway. I understand with hills and shit. And I know I'm gonna be heavy on the pedal for a while when I get this. I've never owned a V8 vehicle before, so I'm really excited. So I know I'm gonna get some questionable gas mileage for a little while, but anyway, a couple other cool things with the build. I have a Monte Carlo steering box, so that's essentially to mimic the steering box that came in the ZQ8 RPO S10s. It's just a quicker ratio steering. Basically, when I got the truck, when I first saw the truck, I used the stock steering box. I didn't like the steering angles for your drag link. Ooh, damn, this guy right here is your drag link connected to your pitman arm. Didn't like the angle I had, so I ended up cutting out. You can kind of see the hack job I did, but you know, I was young and dumb. Put an Astrovan steering box, so it's the same steering box as the S series trucks, but instead of the pitman arm going out the back, like going towards the firewall, it comes towards the front, and the gearing is flipped 180 degrees. So otherwise, if you put the pitman arm backwards, you turn the wheel right, you're gonna turn left. So I did that for a little while. I don't remember why I switched back to a regular box. I switched back to a S10 box. I don't know if it's when I switched to the full width axles, if the angles were better, but I still had sloppy steering, so I ended up switching to this Monte Carlo box. They're dirt fucking cheap, and you get the quicker ratio, which kind of just makes everything feel a little tighter. In addition to that, I actually went, I don't remember where I got it. It was some fucking like Jeep website. When I post this video, I'll find it. I'll put the link in the description, but it's actually got the front cap, which is drilled and tapped for a hydraulic assist, and then I actually drilled and tapped this top cover. So eventually, once this thing is up and running again, I'll go ahead and do the hydro assist just to hopefully help tighten things up, y'all. For y'all who haven't driven lifted trucks, or at least vehicles with large tires, it's a fucking bitch. It's very, you know, you gotta really hold the wheel and shit. I thought it was just me, but when I drove my boy's Jeep Rubicon, it was like a 2016 on 35s, drove like shit, just like mine. And then I ended up putting that motherfucking truck back to stock. He leased it, so the finance company he leased it through charges for every modification you make to the car. My day job is doing lease return inspections, so both companies that I work for in this industry both worked with that finance company, so I had access to those guidelines. I was like, yo, let me know before you take that shit back, bro, because they're gonna fuck you up. And sure enough, he hits me up one day like, bro, they gonna charge me 10 grand. Is that true? I'm like, let me look it up. Yep, that shit's true. So we're gonna put it back to stock. sold the aftermarket shit to basically buy the factory shit to put it back together, and came out with a little money on top. So niggas was lit. Anyway, just by putting it back to stock, completely changed the drivability of the vehicle. I don't have much of a history with lifted trucks, just mine, but didn't make me feel better, because I was like, all right, maybe my engineering isn't so bad. But anyway, just excited to see how that's going to turn out as well. I also have if I remember the part number correctly, I got Rancho RS 9000 adjustable shocks. I only got this one on right now, still got to put this one on over here, but again, all coming together. It has the off-road direct solid axle swap. It's a bolt-on kit. I recommend, if you can, try to get it welded, because the bolts they provide, I don't know how, but they snapped. So this is supposed to be, this and this are supposed to be in contact. This bitch is swung out right now. So when I hit the brakes on this motherfucker, all this shit shifts, and it's not horrible, but definitely probably not the safest thing. So I'll be having this welded on, and I did cut 2 cross members out of this frame. Never really thought about how horrible that is, so I'll be having 2 cross members installed in this as well. So one down here to replace the one I cut out under the steering gear, and then another one that'll go under the oil pan. Otherwise, I'm doing a 4L80E swap. Matter of fact, that's kind of why, this is why I'm doing this whole engine swap. So as most of y'all know, the 4L60s are just fucking trash. I mean, I shouldn't even say that. Depending on the application, I guess depending on who you are, because some people love them. I don't know why, but I've had none but problems with mine. I know I beat the fuck out of them, and I know I got giant tires, but still. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the 4L80E. Everything else in this truck is basically out of a 3/4 ton, so might as well do the transmission. So 4L80 swap. Likely gonna run a 241, an MP 241C transfer case. It's kind of why I gotta decide what I'm gonna do with this front differential that I was talking about in the last video. Because if I keep this Dana 44, I need to do a driver's side drop transfer case. If I use my 10 bolt, I'm gonna have to switch to a passenger side. So as everything is coming together over the next several weeks or a couple of months or whatever, I would like to get this shit done before the new year, because the neighborhood I live in got this crazy hill that you got to come up to get to my house, and I would like to have my 4-wheel drive vehicle ready for that, but you know, we'll see what happens. We'll go ahead and decide which front axle I want to run. Sorry, I'm thinking about it as I'm talking about it, because it's like I said, it's mainly the brakes. I know a lot of the off-road guys, like the purists or whatever, they're all about Dana 44 as opposed to the 10 bolt. Everybody says the 10 bolt is cheap, but there's some people who've done testing, and they're pretty much the same thing. If anything, the 10 bolt is like just a tad bit weaker, but for what I'm doing with this motherfucker, I don't think it's going to be an issue if I do go that direction. It's not like I'm out here rock crawling or going through crazy mud. This thing is going to be like a road trip vehicle, pulling a camper. You know, if I ever could take it to some dunes, you know, I'd probably just fuck around a little bit. But mainly, I like to do trails. I like to ride trails that have like a good amount of water, where I'm just kind of cruising through and shit and climbing like little shit. So, but you know, everything changes when you play and you get into shit. So worst case scenario, if I fuck up the 10 bolt or the Dana 44, I'm gonna get a Dane 60 anyway. So if it ever comes down to that, that's gonna be the deal. And then I'll just swap that out, and then at that point I'll have matching motherfucking studs for my lug nuts. Because right now I'm running Ford stud, obviously, you know, with a Ford front axle. It's an 1.5 inch on 20 thread pattern, and the rear is a 9/16 on 18. So I have the same set of lug nuts for the front and the back with different thread pitch, so that way I can use the same socket. With all that being said, yo, I don't know if there's much else I want to cover. You know, it's just it's a passion, and I know there's still some of y'all out here that fuck with these S-Series trucks. So just kind of want to share my experience, and if any of y'all got advice on your builds that helped me with mine, yo, I much appreciate it. And I guess, yeah, fuck it, I guess we can go over the bodywork too. So just to kind of keep things unique, I'm gonna put GMC SLT Jimmy SLT cladding on it. Obviously I'm gonna have to custom trim it for the back because it never came on 2-doors. And I'll be addressing this rust too, and the rocker as well. Rear bumper, I want to go with a roll pan because you don't really see anybody running roll pans on ZR2s, so I think that'll look hot. I've always been into the roll pan look on SUVs. I'll go ahead and repair this rear quarter. I'm gonna go ahead and delete the bolt holes for the spare tire carrier. I don't know if you can see, but like, yeah, you can kind of see it. So there were these plates back here. This one still has it. I think this one fell out, or yeah, only half of it fell out, but it was a plate with bolts welded, and that's essentially the structural piece behind the sheet metal to accommodate the weight of the 31-inch tire in the spare tire carrier. So what happens is on these trucks, it's very common. There's actually somebody who made something to counteract it, but what happened is you would close it, you wouldn't realize your shit wasn't completely latched on, and then you take off and your shit would swing open, and that's where these dents came from. So it swings open and pulls that shit to the side, and mine went as far as tearing here and here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that, get it welded back up, kill the rust, and straighten everything out. I'm just gonna shave it, and then I'm gonna do, there's a gentleman on Instagram with a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a 2nd gen WJ, and he took his receiver and actually welded like some eyelets and made like a tire carrier coming off the back, and I thought that shit looked slick. He changed it now. His shit is actually mounted to the top of his lift gate, which is kind of slick. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I know, like, cause I kind of like the angled tire, but the straight looks hot too, like straight on the back. So we'll see how I go about it, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna copy that idea of the mounting it off the receiver. The only thing questionable about that is if that's gonna fuck with my towing capacity. So if anybody knows, like with like tongue weight and shit, if that's gonna fuck with that or not, that'd be greatly appreciated, because if it is, I'll maybe mount it off of something separate off this back frame, because with that roll pan it's gonna be all plastic. So and that's also to kind of change, make the approach angle, or I guess departure angle, a little better too. So yeah, we'll see how it all comes together. It's gonna definitely be a unique truck. You can't see now, but I guess a little bit, but I do have the Envoy front clip on it. I'm gonna do something special. I don't want to say it yet, but for now, can't really say, but I got the Envoy front bumper, super rare, with the headlights too. I have 2 sets. I got one set I custom built and painted them black. I can show you those shortly. It's kind of a mess. Can't really see, but I have a GMC Jimmy Diamond Edition grill guard. So I think that's gonna look hot because it's got the built-in fog lights, which match the fog lights on the Envoy bumper. I know it's all plastic basically. It's not gonna be functional per se. I mean, really at all. But yo, I think it's gonna look hot. That was one of my fucking rare ass headlights, but yeah, this is why I did this shit. It's got a off-road pod in the high beam position, and I did put the corny ass strip in here, the switchback DRL strip. It never even worked. It's that cheap bullshit. And then I just put I painted the reflector the same color as the truck, put a little Z for ZR2. Kind of corny, but I have a chrome set. I'm actually gonna be doing more of a chrome front end this time around, but I'm gonna hold on to these two because I'm gonna take that DRL out and clean them up. But I mean, it's so easy to switch the front clip around on these things. I might switch between the black and the chrome as I fucking feel like it and shit. So this front bumper is gonna get stripped down, and I'm gonna wrap the whole truck probably satin black, and maybe with some like accent colors. I might hit it with like a black rainbow not rainbow, but like a black, like rainbow. Fuck, man, what do they call that shit? Like the holographic. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be like a black holographic, maybe trim in some of the places, or chrome or gloss black. So we'll see. I kind of want to keep it unique, but tasteful. Oh, and then last but not least, but for this video, I also have a set of 38. So this is what's going to be going on next. So it's a 38 inch by 13.5 inch tire. Again, bear with me, I'm filming backwards. On 24 inch by 10 inch rim. So I picked these rims up for $200 off the marketplace. So, you know, they got a little pitting on them, but they do clean up quite well. They were a lot worse than this when I got them. But once I get them mounted up, they're gonna be a lot cleaner. I got these tires for $700. So for a $900 setup, I ain't tripping. And it's crazy how big a 30, matter of fact, let's roll it out. A 37 versus a 38. It's crazy. Let me make sure nothing crazy's living in here. I don't know if y'all know what camel crickets are, also known as, oh shit, it's heavy, as cave crickets. Them niggas live in my shed, and all kinds of other interesting creatures. So I'll just be hesitant to touch a lot of my shit right now, especially, I don't know, like, if there's anything that might bite or be poisonous. But look at the difference between the two of these. For 1 inch taller and 1 inch wider, these things are massive. I don't know how well. I'm also like tripping over my rocks and shit, but them shits are huge. So I can't wait to get these mounted up. But eventually I'd like to run either a 26 by 16 or a 28 by 16 inch rim. I probably won't go back to 37s with the 513 gears and a 38 inch tire. I'm gonna turn a pretty decent RPM, like on those RPM charts, the gear ratio RPM charts. I'm gonna be like right in the middle of the green and the red. So it's gonna be like that happy medium for like gas mileage and like your get up and go or towing RPM. So if I ran 40s, it would be even a little bit more biased towards the better, like lower RPM at the same speed, so you get a little better gas mileage and shit. So I'm gonna probably stay with 38 inch tire, and then what I'll do for off-roading is I'll get a second set of wheels with military tires. So I'll run like a 16.5 inch rim, like a bead locker, on one of them Goodyear military mud terrain tires. They're super cheap. I'm gonna call my mud boots, my street meats and my mud boots. So I think that really does it for the intro and some of the quirks and features, as that motherfucking corny ass motherfucker would say. Yeah, I'm my bad. I'm a hater. But yeah, yo, like I said, enjoy the content as that comes. Appreciate y'all.